Hi, Instagram peeps. I have been really enjoying doing virtual yoga classes, and today's a really fun offering. It's something that will become more regular. I've been doing new moon and full moon practices that are a little more, we'll say, subtle body oriented than my twice weekly yoga asana classes. And today, well, yesterday was officially the full moon, but we're still in the light of it. We're just starting the waning cycle. And I love offering practice at these pivotal junctures of the moon cycle because they are quite energetically nourishing and opportunities to sort of hitch our wagon, so to speak, to a force larger than just our own willpower. And so with today's practice, it's oriented toward the energetic of the full moon, which has a lot to do with kind of peak energy, right? Reaching this peak of fullness and saturation and hopefully satiety, being satiated by our experience, and then starting to shed the things that we no longer need as in our own internal digestive process. Like you take in luscious, nourishing food, hopefully, and you experience a feeling of fullness and completion, and then your body starts to get to work assimilating, eventually eliminating what is not necessary to remain nourished. And on an energetic level, this could be anything. It could be conversations, it could be media, it could be activities, it could be an orientation to our life. And I want to bring in some of the quality of what the nakshatra, which means constellation in Sanskrit, or it refers to the constellations, it's fixed star. The nakshatra of the full moon that we're in is called Chitra, and the quality that I want to focus on and impart, if you can give yourself this moment of focus of a perfect, whole, freshly shucked pearl, and how perfect that we have a pearl quality in this moment of full moon, which is already very pearl-like. So there's just a lot of this reflective, nourished, sensual, feminine energy going on. And the feminine piece is critical on a lot of levels. I'm going to stay focused here. I could go on a tangent right now, but the feminine quality of things, I'm drawing on the tantric philosophy, which is speaking in archetypal terms, the feminine being living, breathing, pulsing, dynamic, adaptable, changing, expressive nature of things, whereas the masculine archetypal quality is really this fixed point and objective observer. So with the feminine, there is some more subjectivity. The qualities of the feminine are feeling, changing, growing, expressing, and nourishing through that process. So sometimes our feminine can be very tumultuous, like the ocean. It gets churned up and maybe a little opaque and aggressive, and there's a lot of damage that can be done, but in the wake of that, or the aftermath, there is healing potential, if not immediately felt healing effect. So bringing yourself to some kind of orientation point to this quality of a full expressive moon in Chitra Nakshatra with this quality of luminous light. The task is to consider what must be shed from your energetic output, from your daily to-do list, from your focus, in order to be more often and more fully in a state of pleasure, in a state of just your pure shine and luminosity. Now, sometimes these words kind of grate on me, and we'll get into our goddess orientation in just a moment. But if you are like me and find yourself a bit of a curmudgeon at times, you know, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, let's just be honest, that's what we're doing. It's sort of like jealous of whatever is going on with other people that seem to be really happy and celebratory and having success. If you're feeling on the low end of your energetic cycle, this is really a crucial pivot point for us. The aspect of our radiance, whether that be energetic, emotional, physical, intellectual, our capacity to shine depends entirely on our willingness to go inward and to honor and hone what is innately intelligent and radiant inside of us already. So I find a lot of the kind of unnecessary churning and tumult and opacity in my emotional reality really comes down to being distracted by what I think I'm supposed to be doing or what I've been told I should do. So this is all fodder for what will be a movement and breath practice and probably a mantra practice. Now, the goddess orientation here is from Western Greek mythology, Aphrodite. The Roman equivalent is Venus, and in the Vedic tradition, it's Lakshmi. And Lakshmi is associated with the planet Venus, which is often associated with the moon because typically you can see them both at the same time. Venus is one of the planets that we see regularly in the night sky. And this quality of sort of being paired together, or, I'm thinking of them like pinned to the sky together as partners. The moon is an expression of our deepest, truest intelligence. It's not the intelligence that operates in the prefrontal cortex that's assessing and disseminating and comparing and breaking apart. It is the innate intelligence that is really holistically attuned. So it's informed by the soma, our somatic, our sensory experience. And it's that very, very fast consolidation, interpretation, and assimilation of details in order to make medicine of what we're taking in. So, this example of pain as a teacher, when we're moving in such a way that generates pain, whether immediately or over time, there's some information there that is really quite useful and ultimately medicinal. We might get stuck at the front of that and just be like, complaining about it. Something's wrong with me. I'm broken. What did I do? And it's actually more of an opportunity to go a little bit deeper and, again, eliminate those patterns that are creating congestion or pain or disruption of any kind, and create something that is more pure in the way that moonlight is pure, just a pure reflection of what is so. So that's where I'd like us to orient. How can we make ourselves, through our physical movement, through our breath, the things that are fundamental to being alive, that are absolutely necessary, how can we make ourselves, or orient ourselves rather, to reality in order to be totally radiant and beautiful in that truest sense? the kind of beauty that people often describe as, you know, beauty inside and out, where there's just, it has nothing to do with physical features and everything to do with what animates those features. So if you have access to a yoga mat or just a clear, preferably not hard surface, that would be great. If you have, I'm going to say access to a blanket or a towel, that would also be great. Maybe for a little bit of lift under your seat. We'll do something else with it. I'm going to have to take all my gemstones off my blanket in order to use. And really, the only other thing you need is some freedom of your attention. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you have access to some privacy, that would probably be helpful. So you can be really super focused on what is emerging from your soma, your felt sense of being. So we'll start actually laying down. And I think my sound quality is pretty good. I've got my mic going, but let me know, make a comment there if you can, if things are not great. And so if you would just bring yourself down onto your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And you can just start with a simple placing of your hands at the really tops of your thighs, right where your thigh bones plug into your pelvis. You'll feel those notches of pelvic bone right at the front. And press your palms flat into your thighs and see if you can straighten your elbows here. It's like you're trying to push your legs away from you. Relax your low back muscles and your glutes. Allow your head to sink into the floor. And as much as you can, I mean, my chest is hollowing out a little bit purely because of the position, but feel for yourself that there's not an additional tensing or gripping in the chest or throat. Inhale slowly through your nostrils, exhale out an open mouth. Do that again. One more time, a long, slow breath. Good. And then please open your arms wide to the side, widen your feet a bit wider than your pelvis. If you're on a yoga mat, your feet are as wide as your yoga mat. And lift your butt up off the floor and move it over to the left and set it back down. Drop your knees to the right. And as you inhale, press your hips more to the right. So your left butt cheek is going to lift and probably engage a little bit. Look to your left as you do that. And then exhale, relax your effort and come to your starting position. Inhale, press your hips to the right, turn your face to the left. And exhale, come back to center. Find a pulse here for yourself that is not terribly effortful. In other words, when you exhale, it shouldn't be like a plosive or a dropping quality, but create a rhythm here in your movement that is watery, that is linear. And that doesn't mean that it has to be super slow. In fact, feel into that possibility of wanting to move a little bit faster and what comes out of that, but there is a fluidity in the rhythm, whatever the rhythm shows itself to be. And then stay in the active stretch, pressing your hips to the right, your face to the left, to the degree that feels helpful, and find a rhythmic breath here in the more static shape. Release the weight of your head into the floor. Keep your shoulders quite soft. Reach out through your fingertips. See if you can keep the shape, but somehow expand it, make it a little bigger. And relax in the hips. Bring your left knee all the way over to the right so your knees are stacked. If you need to adjust your spine in order to feel a comforting quality of stretch, go for that. There's also this option here of bringing a little more length to the left side, all the way into the back, by holding onto your inner left knee with your right hand and extending your left leg out away from you. Now, maybe you keep your left knee bent here so that you can breathe in that fluid rhythm. Let's take another long, slow, deep breath in. You can look to the left. I actually prefer the sensation of looking to the right. And then reach your left fingertips away from your chest. Expand the shape with your skin. And feel your skin extend out. Wrap your skin around your bones and reach your leg further, reach your arm further. And then come back to center. Hug both of your knees into your chest. Lay on your back, rock side to side, or just stretch it all out. And if you're on your back with your knees into your chest, use that movement purposefully. And then everyone lay on your back and find something like stillness. Keep your eyes open for a moment. See the ceiling. And pay some attention to your tissue. Maybe you sense your tissue reorienting, almost moving, like you've softened a hard clay into something more malleable and it's just shifting or melting. Where do you notice that movement in particular? I feel a lot of movement around my left side ribs or wrapping around the back toward my spine. Bend both knees and bring your feet to the mat or floor. Step them a little bit wider than hips width distance apart. Arms out to a T again. Pick up your butt just a little bit and move it off center to the right. Lower your knees to the left. And as you breathe in, press your hips more to the left. Your right butt cheek is going to lift up and probably engage a bit. You don't need to be super effortful with that squeeze. Just press hips right and look to the, or press hips left and look to the right. Then with your exhale, just relax that. And then use this time now to find a rhythm with the movement between moving your body and breathing in and out, a rhythm that feels liquid, that allows your bones to feel like they're moving through water. There's no confinement on your breath. Maybe your inhale is longer than your exhale or vice versa, but your rhythm is fluid. It doesn't have to be super slow. It might be syncopated. And then press into the stretch, right? Your right hip lifting, your right arm reaching, and hold the shape, but now move your breath in a really fluid, liquid manner. You can move your left hand to somewhere on your body or out into space in a way that feels good to you. Breathe slowly. Consider the possibility that your head wants to be somewhere else in the picture. Maybe you look to your left instead of to your right. This side is different for me. And then release this. Slide your right knee all the way over to the left so that your legs are stacked, and adjust your position so the quality of stretch is actually comforting. Here's a good opportunity to maybe put a blanket under your head or between your knees would be really nice. This may be plenty of sensation. I'm going to keep looking this way so that you can hear me. If you want to bring in more sensation, that's great as long as your breath remains fluid. And to bring in more sensation, you might kick your right leg straight out from the hip joint. Use your left hand as a bit of a prop underneath the knee. You could also use a block if you have one. Inhale slowly and exhale, press out into the stretch a bit more. Right arm reaching right, right leg reaching left. Soften the flesh around your throat and your jaw, and position your head in a way that allows you to sense fluidity. Entertain the possibility that you were in water floating, and that sense of buoyancy, even as you apply some effort. For my dancers in the audience, can you tell I've been taking Gaga classes for the last 2 weeks? And now please bend your top knee if it's straight. Come onto your back. Option here to bring your knees into your chest and rock around. Otherwise, just straighten your legs out long onto the floor, and everybody get there eventually. Let your arms rest. It could be sort of akimbo that you find yourself on the ground, but in a way that allows you to find something like stillness. And then open eyes so that you see the ceiling. Eyes open, aware of your surrounding space, but focus now, tuning into the possibility that you sense your flesh moving, rippling from that work, from that effort, finding its new home, laying in a way that is more supportive to your embodied ease and radiance. Bend both knees and step your feet to the floor. Roll over onto your side and come up to sitting. Sit with a pretty easy, not too dramatic straddle in your legs. This might be a good opportunity to use a blanket or a towel. Just lift your seat ever so slightly, especially if you are on a hard floor. Rather than kind of pulling your butt cheeks apart and spreading the sit bones very, very wide, draw them towards one another a little bit. And if you're really round here and it's uncomfortable to sit up tall, do definitely lift your butt up with a prop. And also you could bend your knees a bit just so you can lift your spine. As little effort as possible in the lifting. Bring some energy to your feet. Point your toes up at the ceiling, especially if they're pointing back. And then close your eyes for a moment. And I just heard this cue this morning, a gift from Kimberly Johnson. If you imagine your pelvis as a magnet, and you can even see it as a bowl with a magnetized base, and the thoughts fluttering around, the distractions, the to-dos are like iron shavings. And just get drawn down, 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 down to the base of your body. You may sense some increasing lightness or spaciousness in your upper torso. Whatever shift you do sense, it with acknowledgement. And then open your eyes and keep your gaze pretty soft. Take your arms out to the sides. Reach long through the underside of your arms. So from armpits down through the forearms, through your palms. So you're not squeezing from tops of shoulders. Reach out almost like your arms were floating on top of something. Like let them rest. And as you breathe in, allow your sits bones to sink into the floor. Feel that weight in the pelvis. As you exhale, twist a little bit to the right and then stop. Maybe you have a sense that you could definitely twist further. stop before that point and reassess. Notice where you started to grip, maybe in your back along those side lines that we spent the first part of our practice opening. Exhale, draw in towards center. So not towards just your spine with your belly button, but really draw your outer edges towards center and turn a little bit more. Rest your right hand on the floor, reach your left fingertips toward your right toes, and then round over an imaginary ball. Let your chin fall toward your chest. Keep reaching from your armpit across the underside of your arm with your palm. I'm not interested in you touching your toes. If you do touch your toes, resist the temptation to grab and pull. Instead, hug in towards center with the sides of your waist, your abdomen, and lengthen from your tail up across the back of your body. Prickle your spine into your skin. Soften your skin around the face and give yourself one more full cycle of breath here. Maybe your right hand gently presses the floor to draw your abdomen back more. Release your left hand to the floor. Press with both hands to stack your spine. Untwist. Hopefully you can come back and join me. My attempt to be on my phone less just interrupted my class. I have a timer that automatically pauses Instagram. So we're back. Here's where I left you. I left you sitting up tall and untwisting. Hopefully I didn't lose you too much earlier than that. So I'm going to ask you now, after doing that practice across your right side, bend your knees and sit just easy cross-legged seat, Sukhasana. Do close your eyes and notice where you sense this rippling quality of movement, almost like a resetting of the structure. Not like you're melting into a blob on the floor, but where you are now a little more malleable. It might be really subtle. And we'll go to the other side, but before you move your body, anchor your attention in the fact of pelvis touching earth, even if there are a couple of layers between your actual pelvis and the earth. You might want to lean back on your hands. You might want to play with extending your legs and not using your hands. Come back to this easy straddle, not forcing width, and certainly not forcing your pelvis as wide as possible. Bring your sits bones close-ish to one another. And if you're really rounding, if that makes you feel congested, lift your butt up, and you can also bend your knees, and that'll give you just a little more uprightness in the pelvis, so you don't have to create so much effort in your spine. Flex your ankles and make sure your toes point at the ceiling. Inhale, slowly reach your arms out wide to the side. Stay for your exhale and allow the arms to rest on this imaginary surface. So you are actually lengthening from under the armpits out through your palms. Stay for another inhale. And on exhale, practice consciously drawing in towards center and not getting stuck in maybe abdominals and jaw, reflexive kind of bracing. Create support in a 360-degree range. Inhale. As you exhale, draw in towards center and rotate Stop before you get to your max, and maybe even pull back a little bit. Inhale again. Feel for spaciousness in your back, ease in your spine. Exhale, twist a little bit more. And then left hand comes down to the mat. I am mirroring you. Reach your right arm toward your left toes. Hold your right arm from underneath. Inhale here. As you exhale, round your body over an imaginary ball. Let your chin fall forward. Now reach your right arm as an extension of your spine. Sense the root point of your arm as your tailbone or even your left sits bone. Inhale and feel for some spaciousness. Bristle your spine into your skin. As you exhale, draw in towards center and round your body forward, creating some softness in your skin, particularly around the base of your skull and your jaw. Press ever so slightly with your left hand into the floor. See if you can round a little bit more as you reach to your left toes. If you can touch your toes, please do not grab them and pull. Maybe slide past them. One more breath. Good, and then lower your right hand to the mat and press your torso upright. Untwist. Option to bend your knees into Sukhasana, but cross the other shin in front. Close your eyes. Attune your mental attention to the possibility of supple skin, tissue, malleable flesh. You feel it moving of its own volition. If given the opportunity, with some gentle bumper rails, general guidance that is biomechanical or oriented to our particular needs as spiritual beings, we can trust our body to find its way to a baseline that is useful. And it might not be quote unquote perfectly balanced, but generally it will be the place where we need to do work on our way to that, central alignment. So if you find some of these subtle practices actually wake up some pain or discomfort or alert you to deeper imbalance anywhere in your structure, consider that an invitation to do some more investigation. And here's where we're going to shift into more of a visualization practice and process. The archetypal feminine is the power of Mother Nature. There is natural law playing out. In order for birth to happen, there has to be a total breakdown of something else. Without going too deep into all of those metaphors, we are orienting to the Shakti, or expression of Aphrodite, Venus, Lakshmi, these goddesses that express fertility, abundance, luminosity, radiance. And when we position ourselves to be in right relationship with reality, right? There's massive obstacles being shown to us globally and on deeply personal levels. When we orient ourselves to be in right relationship with reality, we can reap tremendous benefits and rewards. So I just invite you to an easy seat. Soften your hands, palms face up. Imagine in each hand you're holding a fresh pearl. And it might be very small, very, very delicate, and that creates an energetic quality in your palms. You might actually have harvested a big mama pearl, and there's some weight there. Let your imagination stay with what arrives, or trust your imagination rather. And orient your attention in this moment to what is resourceful, where you sense mobility, adaptability, change that feels uplifting and buoyant. For now, simply inhale with that quality of brightness and levity, and exhale down through your pelvis into the earth. And now open your mind, call to mind that which is presently most agitating or abrasive in your reality. And if you are, if what comes to mind immediately is like this global chaos, I encourage you to use this opportunity to sense what is underneath that. What is actually underneath your orientation to global panic? What is actually in you that is really kicked up by what is happening on the planet, or maybe in politics, or maybe, you know, some piece of information that has pulled you out of yourself. What is it actually trying to tell you about yourself? So you keep coming back to yourself. The challenge might be, if you're unclear about what is specific in you, if you're still oriented to this like global problem, let's call the challenge dissociation, right? Being pulled off center by the daily news. And notice where that abrasion is in your physical body. Where do you have the sensation of disruption or discomfort? I'm just going to invite you to inhale and call up this reality, the piece of your reality that is light, that is buoyant, that is luminous. And as you exhale, sense this disruption or abrasion being plunged almost down into the earth through your pelvis. Inhale into that quality of resourcefulness and adaptability. Exhale, plunge the abrasion down through your body into the earth. And we'll just do this a few more times. If you have any sense of almost like more agitation arising or the stress increasing, open your eyes and see an object or a quality in your immediate physical space that imparts a quality of calm. You could also gently rock your weight side to side or front to back, just an easy sway to remind your conscious mind that you are in fact mobile and free to make a choice in this moment. When we engage with anything, we are collaborating almost with that thing. It's this very basic quality of our energetic body, the polarity. We are designed to reach out and draw in. There is a real tendency toward over-identifying with that which is outside of us. We're drawn to situations that are familiar on an energetic level. So we come in to be the savior, or we over-identify with a problem that is somehow familiar to us. And I'm just inviting the possibility of hooking back in to our own innate radiance, discernment, capacity to thrive, so that whatever situation we do edge close to, or whatever cause we choose to affiliate ourselves with, whatever news we choose to take in, there is a kind of energetic buffer. And this is not about bypassing reality, but more being with reality in a way that is useful for us, as well as the globe, the larger energetic soup that we are swimming in. Tethered to the earth by gravity, magnetized to the central core of this planet by virtue of the fact that you are flesh and bone. Sense some relationship to earth, to stability, to the ground through the base of your body. And if you are feeling fatigue in your pelvis or your spine, lay down. Get more of your body against earth. And behind your eyes, in the middle of your mind, visualize and maybe sense that pearl. Maybe it's iridescent. Get a sense of its texture. And from the middle of your mind, allow this pearl to drop down slowly, falling like this pearl is falling through water to the ocean floor being your pelvic floor. I'm just going to finish with the soothing meditation. And once that pearl lands in the soft basin of your pelvis, just begin to rock your pelvis ever so slightly forward and back, rolling this pearl gently up to the top of your sacrum, and then as it crosses the base of your body towards your belly button. If that doesn't feel good, you don't need to go so far, but definitely to your pubic bone, and rock it back. Just notice what arrives as far as images, words, emotions, sensation. allow yourself the freedom to move in a way that feels fluid. Find what is now your clearest sense of center. Sort of set your pelvis upright. If you're on your back, just rest. Connect again to this pearl, resting in the basin of your pelvis, the base of your body. Inhale there. Inhale around it. See and sense its light expanding. Exhale, sense its weight, which might be quite light, but sense its presence. And then with an inhale, draw the pearl up to just behind your navel, sort of at the same level as your sacrum. And with your exhale, you just sort of hold it there and let its light penetrate. Next inhale, draw the pearl up to mid-belly, the solar plexus area, expanding its light, shining. Your exhale, hold it there. Inhale this pearl up into the middle of your rib space, heart center. Casting pearlescent light. Inhale the pearl up into your throat space. Inhale the pearl up into the middle of your mind, the space behind your eyes, casting a pearlescent light behind your eyes. It's cool light. Unlike the sun, it's very cool. And then inhale this pearl all the way up to the crown of your head, actually outside, floating against the top of your skull. And as you exhale, let that pearlescent light just cascade down your body. We'll take a few breaths here, letting this light filter through your body and down around your body. You can keep this image. You can just sort of hold on to any sensation of cooling quality, maybe a liquid, kind of fluid sensation. Move if that helps you. And I'm going to chant the Param Jyoti mantra. And this mantra I really love. It is the mantra of the supreme light. The Param Jyoti is our soul. It's the buddhi of the mind. It's the heart-oriented intellect. It's the essential emotional intelligence. It is our soma. It is dependent on being incarnate. This mantra allows us to transcend some of our conditioned orientation to either or, neither nor, good, bad, right, wrong, my way or the highway, us against them. And we'll use the Bija mantra Shreem today. Shreem, of course, associated with Lakshmi. Her original name is Shri. And the mantra goes like this. Om Shreem Ham Sahasoham Swaha. Om Shreem Ham Sahasoham Swaha. Om Shreem Ham Sahasoham Swaha. Ham Saha Soham Swaha. Om Shrim Ham Saha Soham Swaha. Soften your own presence here. Allow your body to be the vessel of your experience. Draw any lingering parts of yourself that are scattered or attached outwardly outside of where you are actually sitting and what you are actually experiencing right now. Just draw everything back and in. And if it feels comforting to place your hands somewhere on your body, I encourage you to do that. You can also simply rest your hands in your lap. In a way that is meaningful to you, extend an inner gesture of gratitude and reverence for this vessel, for that which is innate to you, which is deeply, in fact, infinitely intelligent and benevolent. Anjali Mudra, hands folded together in front of the heart. It's a gesture of recognition in honor of each of you. Namaste. Thanks for playing with me today, practicing. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message.